Nicole Kidman might be about to take on one of the most intriguing and daring roles of her career, and Hollywood can't stop talking about it. Rumors are swirling that she's in early talks to star in a brand new thriller being developed by A24, a studio known for taking bold risks and producing cinematic masterpieces that leave audiences stunned. But this isn't just any project. This is the kind of story that makes people lean forward in their seats, that sparks heated debates on social media, and that could completely redefine how we see Nicole on screen. Fans are already speculating about what kind of character she'll play. Will she be mysterious, manipulative, glamorous, or all of the above? And the truth is, the details that have emerged so far are enough to make anyone sit up and pay attention. The project comes from Dylan Brady, a relatively unknown British writer who suddenly found himself at the center of a fierce bidding war among Hollywood's top studios and streaming giants. Names like Netflix, Amazon, Apple, FX, and Peacock were reportedly all vying to secure the rights to this untitled erotic thriller, which just goes to show the magnetism of the script itself. In fact, A24 didn't wait around. They reportedly made a 7-figure, 24-hour preemptive bid to lock it down. That kind of high-stakes scramble is rare in Hollywood, and it already adds a layer of intrigue before anyone even sees the film. Why would studios fight so intensely over a single script? What is it about this story that has everyone from executive producers to casting directors obsessed? These are questions that keep fans, industry insiders, and journalists buzzing. At the heart of the buzz is the promise of suspense, danger, and psychological twists. The script reportedly centers on a struggling actor who takes a nannying job for a high-profile couple, only to find herself drawn into a world of secrets and peril that she couldn't have imagined. Already, comparisons to classic thrillers like Fatal Attraction, Eyes Wide Shut, and Sunset Boulevard are being made, but Brady isn't aiming to replicate the old formulas. Instead, he's said to be taking a modern approach, shifting conventional gender roles and exploring the thriller through a queer lens, which adds a fresh and provocative twist that Hollywood hasn't seen in years. With Nicole Kidman potentially leading, a writer on the rise, and A24 at the helm, this project seems destined to capture attention, not just for its story, but for the way it's shaking up the industry. But what exactly makes this script so irresistible, and why is everyone so eager to be part of it? That's the story we're diving into today, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why this could be one of the most talked about thrillers in recent memory. Hollywood has a reputation for bidding wars, but what's happening with this untitled Dylan Brady thriller is something else entirely. Multiple top studios and streaming giants reportedly battled fiercely for the rights to this script, including Netflix, Amazon, Apple, FX, and Peacock. The story alone might explain some of the hype, a psychological, erotic thriller with a modern twist, but it's the combination of intrigue, fresh storytelling, and the possibility of Nicole Kidman in the lead that made this property irresistible. Imagine executives scrambling in a 24-hour preemptive bid, tossing 7-figure offers into the ring without hesitation. It's the kind of high-stakes drama that usually plays out on screen, yet here it was happening behind the studio doors. And A24 came out on top, a testament to their keen eye for content that's both edgy and critically promising. This level of competition doesn't happen often. Studios don't spend millions chasing just any script. The fact that A24 beat out some of Hollywood's biggest players signals that there's something exceptionally compelling about Brady's work. Reports indicate that the script, initially titled Discretion, ranked second on the prestigious 2025 Brit List, which highlights the top unproduced scripts in the UK and Ireland. That recognition alone would make many studios curious, but it's clear that the narrative's mix of suspense, forbidden desire, and complex psychological layers pushed it into a league of its own. People in the industry are whispering about the it factor that makes this project feel like a guaranteed talking point, and insiders are already predicting award buzz if everything comes together perfectly. But what makes a bidding war like this so fascinating for audiences is not just the money, it's the story behind the fight. Each studio likely envisioned a different way to market and develop the thriller, whether as a high-profile streaming series or a cinematic release. The negotiations themselves, with intense 24-hour timelines and confidential 7-figure deals, are almost as dramatic as the script's plot. And now, with A24 officially in the lead, there's an added layer of expectation. Can they maintain their reputation for risk-taking and award-worthy storytelling? For fans, it means the film is already charged with prestige, tension, and promise, all before production has even started. From this chaos, one thing becomes clear: the project isn't just a thriller for the screen, it's a thriller behind the scenes. The stakes are high, the players are major, and the anticipation is building. And as we'll see, the story itself is just as layered and compelling as the bidding war that brought it to life. But the real twist comes next, when we look at the man behind the script, Dylan Brady, and how he went from relative obscurity to the center of Hollywood's radar. Behind every buzzworthy script is a creator who dares to push boundaries, and Dylan Brady is quickly becoming that name in Hollywood. A relatively unknown British writer, Brady had only one produced credit before this project, a Netflix series called Everything Now. Yet, despite a modest resume, his latest work has catapulted him into the spotlight, turning heads across the industry. What makes this rise particularly fascinating is how a writer with limited recognition suddenly became the centerpiece of one of the most intense bidding wars in recent Hollywood memory. It's the kind of story that inspires aspiring creatives everywhere. Sometimes, one powerful idea can completely change your trajectory. Brady's script, originally titled Discretion, earned a coveted spot on the 2025 Brit List, ranking second among the top unproduced scripts in the UK and Ireland. This recognition isn't handed out lightly. The Brit List is watched closely by studios and producers hunting for fresh, compelling content. Being highlighted here signaled not just talent, but potential, the kind of storytelling that could redefine genres. Industry insiders describe Brady's writing as a blend of psychological tension, layered characters, and provocative, modern twists on familiar thriller tropes. That combination was enough to make Hollywood take notice, but it was also his boldness and originality that made executives willing to stake millions on a relatively unknown writer. What's equally compelling is Brady's own journey as an actor, which adds layers to his storytelling. He has appeared in series like Ander, The Diplomat, and the long-running Coronation Street, giving him first-hand experience with screen performance and pacing. This dual perspective, actor and writer, likely informed the realism and tension of his script. Some insiders speculate that his knowledge of character nuance and the pressures actors face contributed to the thriller's gripping psychological depth. In other words, Brady doesn't just write stories, he understands how they breathe and unfold in front of the camera, which makes his work particularly cinematic. The fascination with Brady isn't limited to his past credits, it's the sense that this project could be a launching pad for a remarkable career. Hollywood loves a breakout story, and Brady's trajectory, from minor credits to the center of a seven-figure bidding war, has all the ingredients of a narrative itself worthy of a film. Fans and industry watchers alike are curious, will he continue to shape this modern take on the erotic thriller, and how much creative freedom will A24 give him? One thing is certain, when you combine a bold, unconventional script with a fresh voice like Brady's, the result is bound to be talked about for years to come. At the heart of this buzzworthy thriller lies a story that's already sparking conversations among fans, critics, and Hollywood insiders alike. The premise is simple yet electrifying. A struggling actor takes a nannying job for a high-profile couple, only to become drawn into a web of secrets, danger, and psychological tension she couldn't have imagined. It's the kind of setup that promises both suspense and emotional complexity, immediately hooking audiences who are eager to unravel every twist. The idea of an ordinary person stepping into extraordinary circumstances is a classic thriller trope, but Dylan Brady reportedly infuses it with unexpected layers, making the story feel fresh, edgy, and incredibly cinematic. What sets this narrative apart is its careful nod to classic erotic thrillers. Brady has openly cited influences such as Fatal Attraction, Eyes Wide Shut, and Sunset Boulevard, films that are known for their intoxicating mix of desire, deceit, and danger. Yet, he's not simply recreating the old formulas. Instead, he's modernizing the concept, exploring the psychological and emotional stakes through contemporary perspectives. The story reportedly challenges traditional gender roles, reshapes expectations of protagonist behavior, and introduces a queer lens that makes the suspense feel unexpected and provocative. It's a thriller that's designed not just to entertain but to make audiences think and feel in ways that classic films often avoided. The narrative tension reportedly ramps up from the very first scene. The protagonist is plunged into a high-stakes environment where every choice could have serious consequences. The household she enters seems perfect on the surface, glamorous, orderly, and wealthy, but Brady layers the story with subtle signs of unease, secrets, and manipulation. Every interaction carries the potential for danger, keeping viewers on edge as the story unfolds. It's this blend of ordinary and extraordinary, domestic calm and hidden menace that keeps audiences glued to the screen, wondering who can be trusted and what shocking revelation will come next. Brady's careful character development ensures that viewers aren't just watching a series of thrilling events, they're experiencing a psychological journey alongside the protagonist. Each encounter, every whispered conversation, and all hidden glances are loaded with tension. Fans are already speculating, who holds the real power in this household? How will the protagonist navigate betrayal, seduction, and moral ambiguity? And, of course, what role will Nicole Kidman, if cast, play in heightening these stakes? The story promises twists that keep audiences guessing, emotional beats that resonate long after the screen goes dark, and a cinematic sophistication that elevates it above typical thriller fare. By teasing just enough of the plot while leaving key elements mysterious, the narrative builds anticipation not only for the story itself but for the performances, the direction, and the overall cinematic experience. It's a story designed to dominate conversation and speculation, creating a perfect storm of suspense, curiosity, and intrigue that keeps viewers coming back for more. And while we've only scratched the surface, the twists, turns, and unconventional angles promise a thriller unlike anything audiences have seen in years. What truly sets Dylan Brady's thriller apart isn't just the suspenseful plot or Hollywood-level intrigue, it's the fresh, modern lens through which the story is told. While classic erotic thrillers often relied on predictable gender roles and conventional power dynamics, this project reportedly turns those tropes on their head. The narrative explores shifting identities, blurred boundaries, and the psychological depth of characters who are anything but one-dimensional. It's the kind of storytelling that challenges expectations, keeping viewers engaged and questioning every move the characters make. Audiences aren't just watching a thriller unfold, they're being invited into a world where nothing is as it seems, and every twist carries layers of meaning. One of the most talked about elements is the story's queer lens, a bold choice that adds both complexity and originality. By incorporating LGBTQ+ perspectives into the thriller genre, Brady is reshaping the emotional and relational dynamics traditionally seen in suspense films. This allows the story to explore desire, jealousy, and power in nuanced ways that modern audiences crave, a psychological depth that separates it from formulaic thrillers. The result is a narrative that feels both daring and relevant, addressing contemporary themes while delivering the tension, mystery, and seduction that thriller fans expect. Beyond representation, Brady reportedly focuses on the subversion of gender roles. The protagonist, while vulnerable in some ways, is far from powerless. She navigates high-stakes situations with a blend of intuition, intelligence, and moral ambiguity, challenging the idea that women in thrillers are merely victims or objects of desire. Meanwhile, secondary characters, including those who might traditionally be seen as dominant, are given complex motivations and hidden agendas, creating a layered world where power constantly shifts. This unpredictability heightens tension and keeps viewers guessing, who can be trusted, who is manipulating whom, and what shocking revelation might come next. Adding to the intrigue is Brady's modern take on erotic tension, psychological conflict, and storytelling mechanics. Unlike older thrillers that relied heavily on explicit scenarios, this project reportedly emphasizes psychological suspense, subtle manipulation, and the slow burn of escalating stakes. Every glance, every conversation, and every secret is charged with meaning. The narrative sophistication ensures that viewers remain captivated, invested in both the characters' fates and the unraveling mystery. This careful balance between sensuality, danger, and emotional realism gives the story its unique edge. Ultimately, what makes this project so compelling is its promise to challenge the audience's expectations at every turn. With a modern, progressive perspective, a nuanced approach to character, and a willingness to take creative risks, the thriller isn't just a story to watch, it's an experience designed to provoke thought, spark conversation, and redefine the genre. And with Nicole Kidman potentially leading, these layered, subversive themes gain star power, guaranteeing that this project will be remembered long after it hits the screen. Nicole Kidman's name alone brings weight, glamour, and anticipation to any project, and her potential involvement in this untitled thriller has only intensified the industry buzz. Reports indicate she is in early talks to lead the film, and if she signs on, it could mark one of the most daring, career-defining roles of her storied career. Known for her versatility, from intimate dramas to psychological thrillers like The Others, Kidman has a history of elevating material, bringing both subtlety and intensity to complex characters. Her possible portrayal in Brady's script could introduce a new layer of depth to the narrative, giving audiences a protagonist who is as enigmatic as she is compelling. Industry insiders suggest that Kidman's potential casting isn't just about star power, it's about aligning with a story that challenges traditional storytelling norms. The role reportedly requires someone who can navigate psychological tension, erotic undertones, and morally ambiguous decisions with nuance. Kidman's track record demonstrates her ability to convey vulnerability, intelligence, and emotional complexity simultaneously, qualities that are crucial for a character immersed in a household full of secrets and shifting power dynamics. Fans are already speculating, will she play the nanny-like protagonist, or perhaps a more ambiguous figure whose motives are unclear? The mystery alone adds another layer of intrigue for viewers eager to see how she will embody this new kind of thriller character. What makes this even more exciting is the timing of the project. Kidman has consistently chosen roles that push boundaries, from her Academy Award-winning performance in The Hours to her intense portrayal in Bombshell. Each time, she has taken on characters that challenge societal norms and force audiences to confront uncomfortable truths. This new thriller appears poised to continue that tradition, blending suspense, desire, and psychological complexity in ways that feel fresh, edgy, and distinctly cinematic. In other words, the film isn't just a chance for Kidman to star, it's an opportunity for her to redefine a genre alongside a visionary writer and daring studio. The combination of Nicole Kidman's star power and Dylan Brady's innovative script creates a rare convergence of talent and ambition. It's the kind of collaboration that gets people talking long before the first scene is shot. A24's reputation for cultivating high-quality, award-caliber projects ensures that the film will be handled with care, from casting to creative direction. For fans, this isn't just another thriller, it's a promise of cinematic sophistication, star-driven intrigue, and a story that lingers in the mind long after the credits roll. Ultimately, Kidman's involvement amplifies every layer of the project: the suspense, the psychological complexity, the erotic tension, and the modern narrative twists. Her potential casting has already sparked speculation about the role she'll play, how she'll interact with other characters, and how her performance might elevate the story to a new level of sophistication and allure. One thing is certain, with Nicole Kidman at the helm, this thriller isn't just a project, it's an event audiences won't want to miss. Nicole Kidman's potential involvement in this project is just one piece of a larger trend that's reshaping Hollywood, the resurgence of the erotic thriller. Once a dominant genre in the 1980s and 1990s, with films like Basic Instinct and Fatal Attraction, the erotic thriller has experienced a quiet revival in recent years, particularly in streaming platforms where bold, edgy content can find audiences without traditional studio restrictions. Dylan Brady's untitled project, now under A24's wing, positions itself perfectly within this revival, offering psychological tension, sensual intrigue, and contemporary storytelling that speaks to modern viewers while honoring the genre's thrilling roots. A24, known for its bold, boundary-pushing films, is no stranger to developing projects that garner critical acclaim while keeping audiences on edge. Their reputation adds another layer of credibility and excitement to this project. When combined with Brady's innovative approach and the potential casting of Nicole Kidman, the thriller is poised not just to entertain, but to become a cultural talking point. It's not just about suspense, it's about creating a cinematic experience that challenges expectations, provokes discussion, and delivers tension that lingers long after the screen goes dark. Streaming platforms are also fueling this genre's comeback. Netflix's Hancock Park and Peacock's Teach Me are part of a new wave of erotic thrillers that mix psychological intrigue, character-driven narratives, and boundary-pushing concepts. In this landscape, Brady's script stands out for its daring narrative choices, queer lens, and subversion of traditional gender roles. The story's domestic setting juxtaposed with danger, secrecy, and erotic tension makes it the kind of film that keeps audiences guessing, talking, and sharing theories online. It's a formula that encourages virality, social media speculation, and repeat viewings, all critical elements for modern streaming success. Industry insiders note that the genre's resurgence also stems from audiences craving more sophisticated thrills. Viewers today are drawn to films and series that combine suspense, psychological depth, and morally ambiguous characters. Brady's thriller delivers exactly that, while also innovating through representation, modern storytelling techniques, and unexpected plot twists. With A24 producing, there's a strong likelihood that the creative team will maintain artistic freedom, ensuring the film retains its edgy, provocative essence without compromising for mainstream safety. In short, this project is perfectly timed. The erotic thriller genre is back in demand, audiences are hungry for complex, suspenseful storytelling, and streaming platforms offer the ideal stage for bold experimentation. With Nicole Kidman potentially leading, Dylan Brady's bold vision, and A24's track record for high-caliber production, the project seems poised to become one of the genre's standout entries. It's a story not just about intrigue on screen, but about Hollywood's renewed fascination with the thrill of the unexpected, and audiences can feel the excitement building even before filming begins. As the pieces of this thriller puzzle come together, one thing is clear: Nicole Kidman, Dylan Brady, and A24 are creating more than just a film. They're shaping an event that could dominate both Hollywood headlines and streaming conversations. The bidding war alone set the stage for high anticipation, while Brady's bold narrative and fresh perspective signal a modern reinvention of the erotic thriller. The story promises tension, suspense, and psychological intrigue, but it's the combination of star power, innovative writing, and a daring studio that makes this project truly irresistible. Audiences aren't just waiting to watch a film, they're anticipating an experience, a story that challenges expectations at every turn. What makes this thriller even more captivating is its uncertainty. Nothing about the production has been fully revealed, which only adds to the allure. Will Nicole Kidman accept the role? How much creative freedom will Brady have to explore his unconventional ideas? What twists, betrayals, and shocking revelations await audiences once the cameras start rolling? These questions keep fans and insiders on edge, creating a buzz that builds organically even before the first trailer drops. In Hollywood, anticipation is often as powerful as the film itself, and in this case, it's practically electric. The project also embodies a larger cultural shift. Audiences today crave thrillers that are more than predictable plots and formulaic characters. They want psychological complexity, emotional depth, and daring perspectives, elements that Brady has woven into the narrative. By exploring themes like power, desire, and identity through a queer lens and subverting traditional gender roles, the story promises to challenge viewers while keeping them glued to the screen. It's storytelling that entertains, provokes thought, and sparks conversation, ensuring that the film will linger in public discussion long after its release. As the production gears up, the potential for this thriller to become a defining moment in Kidman's career is enormous. She's no stranger to complex, transformative roles, and pairing her talent with Brady's inventive vision and A24's creative risk-taking could result in a film that is as iconic as it is talked about. Industry watchers and fans alike are poised for updates on casting, filming, and eventual release, knowing that every announcement could bring new surprises and deepen the suspense surrounding the project. In the end, the story of this untitled thriller isn't just about a script or a star, it's about the collision of vision, ambition, and daring creativity. From the intense bidding war to the modern spin on a classic genre, every element suggests that this could be one of the most compelling and talked about thrillers in recent memory.